Hi, my name is Dan Rothenberg. I'm the artistic director of Pig Iron Theater Company, and I'm here today at the Japan Society in New York City. I'm here to interview Toshiki Okada. Toshiki is the artistic director of Chelftisch Theater Company, and his work 5 Days in March is going to be here at the Japan Society in February. Something that's really distinctive about your work is the relationship between movement and text. I know that you are considered not only a playwright but also a choreographer. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about the relationship between movement and text in your work.
If you compare the way conventional theater makers create plays, they will write a text, the text is memorized, and the text is spoken. And whatever movements go along with the text is derived from the text, the iteration of the text, the meaning of the text. So what makes his work different from that is that he really believes that in order to be able to speak text, there has to be something behind that. There has to be what he calls the image inside the actor from which the text is born. And that is actually the same place from which he asks his actors to derive their movement, so that the movement is not born from the words, but the words and the movement are born from this image. Now, this might sound very atypical or very strange, but when you think about it, the way we behave every day with each other, I think is closer to that way of speaking and moving than the conventional theater maker's way of speaking and moving. And this technique is actually something that he discovered because he was working with hyper-colloquial texts and trying to figure out a way to keep it alive.
You say that the movement comes from the image, but is it the movement of the body describing the image? Is it the movement of the body abstractly responding to the image? I just wonder if you could talk a little bit more about.
自分が今何を伝えようとしているのか
He thinks that there are several ways for movement to relate to the image. One way might be, as you say, to try to better express the intention of the image, to try to communicate the image better. The second would be that when you have an image in your mind, there might be some gestures that pour out of your body simply because you have that image in mind. To give an example of his most recent play that he's been working on, there was a section of the play where an actor is talking about walking along on a very hot summer day and feeling the sunshine hot on the nape of his neck. On the back of his neck. And in the text itself, he talks about feeling the heat of the sun on his neck. But even before he says those words, the actor should have that image of the heat of the sun on his body for a long time, so that even before he comes to the line about specifically the sun, the actor might have movement that is in response to the image that he's holding inside, if that makes sense.
The play that you're touring the U.S. with, 5 Days in March, it's a play that is about the Iraq War, but also I think it's not about the Iraq War in terms of what actually happens in the piece. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how your play approaches this, what most people see as a political theme, and also just what are your feelings taking the piece to different cities across America?
僕はこれを書いてる時の気持ちはとてもそのイラク戦争のことを書こうと思って書いたんですね。ただ、自分が
when he was writing this play, he was really wanting to express his feelings and his thoughts about the Iraq War. And as intense as those feelings might be, he was also completely embedded in his everyday life. So this play is really capturing, without ever leaving his own life, living day to day in Japan, and his feelings about the war kind of folded into each other. So the question of whether the Iraq War is a theme in this play or not, whether this is a political play or not, those are really difficult questions to answer. He was really trying to address what he felt was important about the war without ever leaving his daily life. So in that sense, he has no idea how the American audience on his tour are going to react to that, seeing the distance between a Japanese person's daily life during the time of the breakout of the Iraq War. And he's really curious to know what their reaction is going to be. In fact, that's what he's most looking forward to on this tour.